Yeah, so I started out the traditional way when I was in the Carolinas. And so what that normally looks like is you go to some form of finishing school, or you go to some form, you join into an acting collective or a theater group. Like, you have to start actually refining your skills as an actor. And through those, you start making connections with other actors that may be like also interested in other parts of film or other parts of theater, so that, with over time, you can start getting work that you're not paid for, but like you're doing short films, or you're doing friends projects, or you're doing these things where you're able to then start actually getting clips of yourself, so that you can start adding to what will become your reel, and you're adding to what will become your resume. And then once your resume and your reel are strong enough, you can start really shopping those to agents to try to find a prospective agent. Now, what I do that I found is kind of a level up thing that a lot of other actors don't do, is I track my statistics. What I do is I track what are the casting directors I'm putting into, how many times am I putting in, how many times is it leading to an audition, how many times is it leading to a callback, how many times is it leading to a booking, and I actually track all of my booking statistics, so that when I walk into an agent, I have my headshots, I have my reel, I have my resume, and then I have my booking statistics, and I say, okay, I've made relationships with these casting directors by being in their rooms and multiple times. I've booked this many callbacks, and from that many callbacks, I booked this many final jobs, and then they have my resume to see the actual jobs as well. And I find that as an actor, the traditional way, like that, you kind of have to work to that, and you have to hope that you get an agent. And it doesn't always happen. Like, I spent a long time in the Southeast without an agent, and then ended up going in and doing a showcase, which is where you and a bunch of actors come, and there's like a group of agents that are there, and agent scouts, and you'll perform your monologue, and you'll perform this whole like routine with them. And then if they like you, they'll call you and they'll offer you like a certain amount of time to trial with them. And then if you do well and they see that they can get you a number of auditions and callbacks, then they're actually going to represent you, and then they'll start putting you out. And but during that, you still have to continue. You have to continue honing your skills and doing projects with other people. And it works if you have the right connections. But again, it takes a lot of time. So like when I moved to California from North Carolina, my agent didn't represent out here. And so I got out here, and there are thousands of agents out here. So you don't know, there's just as many legitimate agents as there are scam artist agents. So you don't know who to trust. You don't know what to do. I got burned a couple of times when I first got out here by people that said that they were agents, and then they suddenly would be like, oh, you have to go get your headshots with this exact photographer, and you have to go to this exact class. And anytime they're telling you exacts, that they're giving kickbacks to someone, or they're getting kickbacks, and they're probably not someone that you want to work with long term. And so I had the benefit that when I came out here, I already had a strong resume, I already had a strong reel, but I had no connection. So I had no way to keep things fresh. I had no way to keep adding new reel footage as I was gaining new acting skills. And I had no way to continue building my resume. And now all of my statistics were out the window because they were all for East Coast casting agents. And so I started to try to rebuild that, realizing it was going to take a while. And so when I found Friends in Film, I had already been working for a year out here, trying to make inroads and just really hitting walls everywhere I went, because most people were like, well, you have to have a referral. You can't get into our agency without a referral. And it's like, if you don't know other actors that are with them, then you can't get that. So when I found Friends in Film, I'm like, you know what, this will at least make it so I can start making connections in the industry. Because at the time, I was doing my engineering job. I was working from home with a Houston office. So I wasn't meeting people on a daily basis that might lead me to the industry either. So by being on set, I now had access to all of these actors, and not just actors that were at like the higher echelons, but actors that were day players, actors that were featured extras, actors that were background, that could actually sit down and talk to me about who they went through, so I could find the right level. Because it's like when you come out, everyone's like, oh, go for these are the top 3 agencies. Well, those are the top 3 agencies that only represent A-list movie stars that have won awards, you know. So trying to figure out who those lower levels are that then become the feeder tube to the upper. And that guidance through like that I gained only because of Friends in Film is what enabled me to get into my first acting collective, that led to my first smaller agent, that then led to my next agent, that then led me to my agent that I have now, who is one of the top commercial booking agents. So it's one of those things that it changed the game for me, because one, it made it a lot faster. I mean, I went from struggling for a full year trying to make connections and find people, to within 3 months knowing exactly what classes to get into, what casting director workshops to do, and what agents to talk to and start auditioning for. So it was a real game changer.